And really the one thing that I feel like I'm missing in this pond right now, and it's not that it's not going to happen, it's just not complete yet, is really good Well, what's up, guys? It's Daniel from Arms Family Homestead, and it is a dreary, drizzly kind of day, and I have not got much accomplished. It's after lunchtime, and I'm kind of just getting started on my day. First things first, I am going to run over and check on the pond. I hear the guys working over there. They've been over there all morning. It's getting close. Like, the pond build is really getting very close to completion, at least on their end. My end, the work's just fixing to start, but it's starting to look a lot different. Yet the last couple days, it's really transitioned into what I was picturing in my head that it should look like. It's really, they've done a lot of cleanup work, got a lot of the dirt that they've piled and pushed out of the way, and hopefully, if the weather holds up, it's dreary and drizzly and kind of wet today, but the plan is, hopefully the dam will be completed today. I don't know if it'll happen, but it might. So as you can see, the dam is not completed yet. He's still working on it, still moving some dirt, moving some clay around. But other areas of the pond are getting very, very close to being completed. And some of the areas probably are done. I don't know for certain. I haven't talked to them if they have any, touch-up work in certain areas. But it looks a lot different than it did just a few days ago. So starting over here on the west side, the banks are really starting to take shape. The water line should be, those trees will be out of the water. This tree will be out of the water, but the water line should be somewhere along here. I don't know exactly. I don't have a transit and everything set up so that he can tell us exactly where it's at. But I told him I wanted some transition areas, some drop-offs. So they've been kind of working things like this where there's about a 3-foot drop off right there. So the water's edge will be up here, and then just within a few feet it'll drop off. And we're gonna lay, there's a whole pile of logs right there. We're gonna come in here and we're gonna lay logs in and along those transition drop offs, and then I'll take some concrete and stuff and pile on top of those logs just for fish structure, for habitat. I think this brush pile is gonna stay, but we may push it over. The water's edge is going to be up in here somewhere, and that would be kind of out of the water. We're probably going to roll it downhill just a little ways, but you guys have seen these big underwater islands and stuff, but they just keep getting taller and taller because he's needing to move all that clay for the dam. But it's not, like I said, it's not complete. This is basically still his work area where he's pulling dirt from, pulling clay from, but you can see down here, there's plenty of room for him to just take that excavator and pull that brush pile and drop it off down here in the bottom, and then it'll be several feet underwater. But it has it's transitioned a lot over the last several days. The last time you saw the pond was after the rain the other day, and the water, they pump the water out. We're not worried about that little bit of water. This was where I was showing you where the water line was before, and after it rained, the water was almost up to where that little artificial fish structure is. So we pulled probably 3 to 4 feet out of there, And that bottom hole, we're not concerned about. We're not going to put structure down in the very bottom pit. It's just they got all the mess out of there, all the sludge and everything out, so now it can actually just be a smooth bottom in the pond. But there's just a lot of cool things that we've added and done, and I say we lightly because he added and done. And I don't know, I've told you guys, I've not been very good at continuing to let you know who's doing this work, but the guy's name's Cody that's kind of in charge of all this, and he has a company called Dream Ponds of Oklahoma. If I can find their Facebook page and stuff, I'll leave it in here, leave it in the video for you guys. But I'm telling you, he has worked his tail off. Been out here. I expected him to show up, 8 o'clock in the morning. He lives about an hour from me. It's not close, really. I expected him to show up at 8 o'clock and leave by 4:30 so he could get home to his family. And I'm telling you, the days where the weather's perfect and it's not nasty, he gets here at 7:30 in the morning a lot of days and doesn't leave until an hour or two after dark. He'll be here 12, 13, 14 hours sometimes. And they don't leave to go to lunch. When they're here working, they're here working. And I feel like personally, they're doing a great job. And I think it's taken a lot longer than what he expected it would. Mostly because of weather delays and snow and all those things. So I think he's maybe been a little frustrated in, just getting delayed on the job. But I have no complaints, I promise you. So all of these will get put to use in the pond. All those trees will be structure and stuff. But I'm back up where I started, and he's done a really good job of adding things like this. Basically, building a point out in the middle. This could have just been a long straight bank with nothing to attract fish, and he did things like this, and it's kind of hard to tell without an aerial view, but basically he built up a mound and pushed a point out. Bass love to congregate on a point or a drop off, or just they need something, and this little point we can kind of reshape. I'm sure he's not finished, he'll get it all worked out, but you can kind of see it kind of comes out to a drop off, and then there's a pretty good, 3-foot tall ledge right there, and then like I said, the water's edge will be up here, and it cuts back up into the timber back there. Man, that's just it's overwhelmingly cool, overwhelmingly awesome for me as a property owner who's fished this pond, grew up here. It's overwhelming to see the transformation, the amount of work that's been done here. It's not really something I could have completed myself, and if I attempted, we would have been here for a year or more, because the size of my equipment does not compare to that. But just the way he's building this thing, he completely saw my vision for what I wanted and has just ran with it. So we left a lot of timber. Like, it's going to flood up in here. It'll be 4 or 5 feet deep going up into that little draw right there. And he left a lot of timber. There's a brush pile that needs to be cleaned up, and that stuff's not done. But we're leaving all the big hardwoods. Once it floods, once the pond fills up, they will die. There's no doubt about that. But they will stand as standing dead timber in here for years. And that's where those bass will want to hang out. And there's another look at that point that'll stick out there. Obviously it'll be underwater, but just something different. Basically change the underwater landscape to something different, and give bass and bluegill and fish a place to want to congregate. And really the main thing when I told Cody what I wanted, when we were talking all this over before he ever started, when he was working up a bid, he said, "What do you want? What are you looking for?" And I said, "I want as much natural and artificial structure in here as possible. But I don't want you to come in here and wipe the slate clean. I do not want to push everything out of here and have a big empty bowl, a big round circle. I said I want as much contour in the soil, the contour in the bottom of the pond as possible. You know, all kinds of different shapes and elevations and drop-offs and cliffs as possible. I want as much structure. Why do I whistle when I say structure? I want as much structure in here as possible. I want to leave things that are here. I want to leave pockets and islands and stumps and logs and rocks. I want to build the best possible habitat for bass and bluegill possible. And he saw that vision and he ran with it. And it's just crazy. I wish you guys could be here to see it, because that doesn't look like much here. And there's still some cleanup, but all these little underwater islands are just going to be, I mean, just imagine being in a boat 6-8 feet above that, and that's where you're fishing. And it's not done yet. I'm going to pile logs and rocks and concrete and all the things, and have a bass fishing heaven, I believe. And really, the one thing that I feel like I'm missing in this pond right now, and it's not that it's not going to happen, it's just not complete yet, is really good spawning areas. For bass and bluegill and whatever. They love to spawn on gravel, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet of water. And areas just like this will be perfect. It's just missing the gravel. But I have a plan for that, because I live on a creek that is completely slap full of shale rock. I'm not going to go out and buy a bunch of gravel and come in here, but I do have the creek that I can borrow some rock from. So that's part of what I'm going to do today. It's kind of a dreary, nasty day, but I'm going to go fire up the Cotto excavator and start basically just stockpiling some rocks, stockpiling some gravel, so that when I get the skid steer back here, it's still at my buddy's where we were loading concrete and stuff. I'm letting him use it, cleaning up around his house building stuff. But I need to stockpile some of that with the excavator, and then I can come back and load it in my dump bed trailer, and then we'll be able to just, hopefully in theory, after they're out of the way and done, I'll be able to get in here with that dump bed trailer and just dump gravel in a lot of different places, 6, 7, 8 different places around the pond, and we will have perfect prime bass bluegill spawning beds, and we're going to know where they're at. That's a key factor too. All right, so here's the first area I want to work on. It's the perfect area that's got a lot of fill, gravel and rock and shale in it. And really, honestly, I've wanted to clean all of this up for several years anyways. I just hadn't done it. These trees kind of pop up when we don't have floods for a few years in a row, and they just really aren't that great. And when it does flood, then it just builds up junk. And it's pushing the creek that direction. It used to flow more over here, and obviously there's a big shale bank on the other side, but there's just a mountain worth of gravel in here that we could get out. Over here you can see where it's just, I mean, when it floods, it carries all this stuff downstream and eventually washes to the lake over time. But I mean, there's just load after load after load right here, and then I can kind of clean up some of this mess, get some of the junk trees out of the way. But really, honestly, I mean, there's probably more gravel right here than I need. If we, excavate this down about 3 feet and clean up over there, I mean, just so much. And it wasn't that long ago, the creek actually flowed here across this way. and it just changed course over time as it floods, as it, you know, trees fall in, gravel bars build up. I mean, there's a giant gravel bar. It's like a big island over there. The creek kind of goes around that way and back around this way. But the in the summertime, the bluegills spawn in here, and you can just see circles everywhere up and down this creek, and they love spawning in this type of stuff. And it's all different sizes, from teeny tiny little bitty stuff up to you know, some big baseball size, softball size, some basketball size rock. Just really good stuff to add into the bottom of the pond, I think. It's one of those little projects that I have told myself I wanted to do forever. And it's not that big a deal. I didn't take out all the little trees. I took out a bunch of the junk and a bunch of the junk that catches debris. Yes, pulling some of those trees out by the roots is going to loosen some of the creek bank, but really there's not much creek bank there. It's all just shale rock and sand. The actual true creek bank is up here where I'm at. This is topsoil. I don't want to disturb this at all. I never want to disturb the topsoil along the creek. All of this is just fill. This is just wash-in stuff. So pulling those trees that are out there that are just junk really, in my opinion anyways, aren't hurting anything. I don't necessarily want the creek bank to start building over there. If I let those trees grow on that little hedgerow, you know, for the next 5 or 10 years, yeah, they're gonna establish a creek bank here, but the creek just keeps moving farther and farther that direction. And let me show you what happens. So you see this monstrous, giant, beautiful oak tree? I want you to look at the base of it. The creek bank did not used to be that far that direction. And you can see in another couple years and a few more floods, that tree won't have anything to hold on to. So I'm really not concerned. I'm not going to disturb anything on that side. That's a big sheer cliff, and the way the water flows when it floods, it comes and it hits that bank. So it's going to happen. There's no saving that tree. That's a 60, 70, 80-year-old oak tree that, you know, in the next few years will be gone. So this is all natural creek bottom area. The water's over here right now, but some years it flows over here and some years it flows over there. And recent years it's started moving more and more that direction. So I'm going to clean a lot of this up. I'll come back in here with the skid steer and load it up. I can get the tractor and dump trailer in up on that flat area, and I'll be able to just scoop gravel out of here with skid steer and load it directly into my dump bed trailer, take it to the pond, and use it for those spawning beds. I think it'll be a great plan. Well, y'all, it's the next day. It's almost lunchtime, and it is finally a sunshiny, breezy, warm day. I still got a hoodie on, and I really don't need it. But worked on the pond project, worked on the creek cleanup project up until I basically last minute had to leave and go to a basketball game. Hi, Maggie. What you doing? And I did not get to go check in on the pond builder on how much he got done. But I can hear a bulldozer over there this morning. I haven't been yet. I'm going to go check on him. But first, you Does it seem quieter at the barn? Because it sure seems quieter to me. What do you think, Maggie? Is it less annoying sounding down here? You sitting there chewing your cud? You sure are a pretty little girl. You know that? We should have just named you Cutie. Like the little tiny oranges. Cutie would have been a good name for you. You're chewing your cud. Okay. Anyways, I told you it's quieter down here because oh, baby goats are all out laying in the sun. It's quieter because we are down to one tom turkey. Back to just Larry and Linda and the little brown hen that Houston hatched in the incubator because my mother-in-law and father-in-law came and picked up 2 toms and a hen. So we're back to our original turkey flock, and I can actually walk in the barn and not have to listen to 3 toms just gobbling their heads off nonstop. It'll be much quieter down here, to say the least. Larry still gobbles, but without the other 2 of his little offspring going crazy all the time, he's not near as noisy. And it's much more peaceful for Bear. Oh, I heard one. He finally gobbled. So, it's much calmer. It's kind of like when we got rid of the 3 big white geese and just kept goose. Oh, it's much more peaceful without all the extra birds. So, anyways, all right. Let's go check on the pond. So I told you yesterday that he was really hoping to have all of the elevation of the dam completed. What I didn't mention was he still got a lot of work to do on the backside to shape it and slope it and all that stuff. He was just hoping to get all the dirt moved up on top of the dam that he needed. And I'm not sure if it happened or not because I just let him work for hours alone, and he's been back for a couple hours working this morning. So we're going to find out together, I guess. Well, he's definitely still working on the dam. Still working on the front side of the dam, to be specific. I don't know if he's got all of his dirt here that he needs. Looks like it might still be a little low on the far end, but man, it's just hard to tell by eyeballing it. What do you think, Kelsey? Has he got a lot of work left, or is he about done? You gonna go check? Let me know. Go find out. Well, didn't quite get the dam finished as soon as we had hoped. He's going to work on it the rest of the day today, maybe get the elevation up. I know you guys are going to say, well, we don't see the spillway pipe, and that's because it's not here yet. He's going to get the dam completely finished the way he wants it, and then come back in with an excavator and dig a trench, set the spillway pipe and all that stuff. But the good news is I got the all clear for a lot of different areas. There's still some work that needs to be done back there that he's going to do, but I can start early next week hauling in gravel, hauling in concrete, moving trees and logs, and doing the part that I'm excited about. And I do have to go pick up my skid steer from my buddy. Got all the concrete cleaned up at his place and moved down here. So I'll do that early next week, and probably spend most of my time next week getting to do what I want to do over here. So anyways, guys, I think that's going to do it for today. Remember, do something today to make somebody smile, because you never know, it just might change the world. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You guys have a great day, and as always, we'll see you on the next video.